Evening, everybody.
Evening, everyone. There was no coffee moaning this morning, but
Hey.
we don't like to leave you uncared for. So here we are tonight.
Unattended to.
Yes, and we are going to be talking about the BBC.
A lot of BBC stuff.
We're going to be talking, there's a lot of chat around that. We're also going to be talking, we've got a great video.
Which one?
Trump being booed.
Oh, Trump being booed.
Oh, God.
We've got
delicious.
BBC chat. We've got BBC chief resigning. We're talking about Trump threatening to sue the BBC for $1 billion.
I want $1 billion. The only greatest man that ever lived. Yeah.
Only $1 billion. And we are going to be talking about him getting mercilessly booed at an NFL football match. And breaking news, just in. The lineup for I'm a Celebrity.
Diddly-doo.
And if we've got time, I've got a very fun topic. Well, not a fun topic, but an interesting topic that really made me think today, which is if I hadn't drunk like a lunatic, this is the headline, if I hadn't drunk in my 20s like a lunatic, I wouldn't have got so far in my career.
That's a terrible message.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I also, you're not going to believe it as a 21-year-old sober guy, I also think there's a lot of truth in the statement when you actually read into it.
What's this statement?
It's a research project that's been done with 3,000 people, but I'll read it to you towards the end.
That should have been in the title.
Well, yes, but it isn't.
Interesting.
It's very long. I just want to show you this quick headline because I like to just kind of hit you with a meme or something from social media that just drives you mad. Oh, no, that's not it. Republicans are pushing to strip Zoran Mamdani of US citizenship. Is it possible?
Right. So for anybody that doesn't know anything about Mamdani, he has just been voted in as the next mayor of New York City. He's a Muslim. He's progressive. He's a socialist in American terms, but not really.
He's not afraid of the word.
He's not afraid of the word. But of course, in America, it's just so capitalist. He's practically a communist.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned. He came in with a really real campaign, actually talking to people that are really struggling, which is most of New York. And the billionaires are all really, really upset. The billionaires and millionaires are really upset, as are the Zionists, the racists, that now believe that New York City is a very dangerous place to live because there's a Muslim as mayor. Trump is kicking off. The white supremacist White House ain't happy. Imagine the pain.
Yeah, and I mean, the extent to which this is actually being pursued, the only way in which the Republicans could get or strip Zoran Mamdani of his US citizenship, he was born in Uganda, is if he in any way lied or falsely uploaded any information in his citizenship. But it just speaks to the way in which this Trump regime, this MAGA regime, this racist regime just looks for any reason and any which way to disqualify. There's nothing new in this because the same was done with Obama. Do you remember with his passport? Can we see his passport? Where was, and all this kind of stuff.
Good point, F1492. What about Melania then?
Yeah. Oh, good point. Yeah.
Melania, Steve Miller, Vance, they're all married to foreigners.
I don't like that word, foreigners.
No, to foreign the way that they think about it. In America, they say anyone. I mean, what are they talking about?
The name is Mamdani. That's what we're saying, Rose Cantillion.
We are saying
Mamdani. Can I ask you, why do you think Americans have almost a heart attack when they hear the word socialist? And more than a heart attack, they actually die when they hear the word communist. What is their problem? Because
America is built on the pursuit of money.
Yes.
Money must be funny.
I mean, it really is. And I think I thought it was a really good piece by, I always forget her name. What's the name of the woman who's on The Young Turks?
Anna Kasparian.
Anna Kasparian. Yeah. She was great when she said the other day, you don't even need to call it socialist or communist. You just need to have a huge number of your population who realize that all of the wealth in the country being made is being taken by just a few. Yeah. And then people will kind of try and think of different systems to try and make that fair. And then suddenly you land on something really like socialism.
And you might think, why do we even care? Well, A, it's really interesting. B, similar things going on here.
Yeah,
the rich get richer. Our council tax wants to double it again,
Yeah.
Yeah. Rachel Reeves wants to tax
Everyone in the middle and not everyone at the top.
No one at the top.
It's bizarre.
It's just incredible. And that's what's been happening in New York City for a very long time. And people can't afford their buses. They can't afford to live. They can't afford to eat. And he just came in and said, I want to make that all a bit better.
Yeah.
I want to make it a bit fairer. So now they're searching through every detail to try and find something that says this foreigner must be kicked out.
Exactly.
I mean, we've got history with this with Trump. He never stopped going on about how Obama was not born in America, how he was a foreigner and he couldn't be.
He never recovered from the fact that he's a black man and I don't know what to do about that.
And now a new thorn in his side, a Muslim who is good looking, has got a gorgeous young wife. They're madly in love. People love him, whereas opposed to Trump. We've got a video later where people are showing
the true colours.
That they don't love him so much anymore.
Shilly, capitalism allows the rich and powerful to keep the boot on the necks of the average man. People caught in the system are busy trying to survive, so don't have time to challenge the powerful.
Or the energy. Keep you tired, keep you working 2 jobs.
It's slavery, guys, but it's just done in a slightly more palatable fashion.
Well, not slightly, massively.
No,
careful.
No. That's right. I'm not no, but what I'm saying is, it is a form of enslavement. It's social enslavement.
It is totally.
And everyone is kind of hoodwinked and gaslit into just tolerating it more and more and more and more. And then when you're not happy, they get you to actually attack your neighbor rather than actually look up the food chain and attack above.
Look for somebody that's a different shade to you and then blame them so that you're not looking at us. And the fact that it's us that's fucking it all up because we're the ones in power and we're the ones that are making all the decisions that are making your life so much harder.
Okay, so
bums.
So there we go. We've done why does America wet themselves when they hit? Where does America wet itself when it hears the word socialism? Okay, so I've asked the question: is the BBC the victim of a witch hunt as the BBC chief resigns over this edited speech in a documentary that went out in October 2024, shortly before the actual election of Donald Trump, which of course he won? It was his kind of Capitol Hill insurrectionist speech, and it was featured within a documentary for Panorama. And some absolute numpty decided to, essentially what you would call in the trade, because isn't it interesting how 2 top dogs, 2 heads, chiefs of the BBC have had to resign over an individual edit.
First one being the Queen.
The one being the Queen, where she didn't say what she said and they'd cut it in such a way.
Remember, she was so
that it made her look cross. So Peter Salmon, he had to resign over that Queen gate. And now we've lost, or Tim Davie has resigned, as well as his head of news, over this edit. Now, the edit is they've taken one part of a speech by Trump, and then they've abutted one part of the speech with him calling for them to kind of go in hard and do that. I'm going to show you the clip in a minute. It's called a concertina edit. It's where you kind of take that bit and that bit, you remove the middle. It doesn't actually necessarily change the tone, the message, or what he was saying.
But it leaves you vulnerable.
But it entirely misrepresents the speech. That's the problem.
So I just want to say hello to Sylvia Mould, who's been a quiet follower since 2018.
Wow.
And decided to say hello today. So hello.
Sylvia,
welcome.
Hello. It's got 7 years of silence. Now you've said hello. That's really sweet. Thank you. I'm now going to play you a clip. It's a little bit confusing and it hurts my ADHD brain, but The Guardian did this for us, which is you hear the speech as it appears in the documentary, and then they show you the 2 bits of the speech as they were or where they were in the longer speech. So here you go. This is what all the fuss is about.
Down to the Capitol, walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Am I going back?
No,
go forward.
We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country.
Now,
my God, it's so sickening because the amount of propaganda, cheats and lies and fakery and hiding a grooming gang, all that shit, all that he produces.
Allegedly, Nads.
Allegedly.
He's watching you right now.
He could sue us for our piano.
He could sue us for our piano.
But alleged, no, not allegedly. He tells us downright lies all the time.
Yeah, I mean, this is an own goal for the BBC, says Passive Aggressive. It feeds into the far right culture war. I hate to say it. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you know what the terrible fact of this is? Well, there's so many different aspects to this that I wouldn't mind talking about. There's the edit itself. That's a really what I would call cheeky edit. It's a cheeky edit that's really designed to, you probably saw there the time moving on. It was designed to lose time and concertina the message. It's literally called a concertina message edit. So you're trying to get the essence of the speech. Now, it could have been done quite innocently, but it could also have been done by, and now this is the terrible fact of it, it could have been done, I'm not throwing the editor under the bus here, but I've often walked into edit suites where I'm making something and one can't get out of a kind of editorial kind of quagmire in a certain scene. And what editors are paid to do is they'll sit there for a while and they'll work up their way around it and they'll make it work. And you come in, you sit down and they go, oh, look, I've made this work. And you watch it and you go, brilliant. And the terrible tragedy of this is it might have been as benign as that and not necessarily some left-wing mission.
Do you know what I find frustrating about what the Guardian's done? And I haven't been able to find this anywhere. So yes, he said go to Capitol Hill. He was, you know, in my opinion, he was definitely inciting people to go to Capitol Hill and make trouble. So then they fast forward. So that comes later. Fight, or you'll lose your country. I want to know what came just before that, because was it similar?
Well, the whole tone of it, yeah. I mean,
and when we're there, we have to be prepared to fight for. I mean, it's not. He said this in the same speech.
But where that is a really cheeky, where it is a really cheeky edit,
no doubt about
but
it.
Also you do what the Guardian does give you in their clip there is that he's talking about our great senators and something else. He's not talking about. He's actually talking about legal representatives in government. We're going up there to meet to cheer them on. He is talking about something actually very different to cheering on people smashing shit up and causing revolution.
No, I mean, listen, it is 100% wrong what they've done. And I'm so angry with them because it gives him the chance to be the victim again, to say that everything's fake news, that really he's the very best of the best of the best of any best ever in the world at everything. It's just that people pick on him and lie about him. And damn you, BBC, for this happening. That's
well, and it strikes me out now. The reason I think this is a witch hunt, definitively, and I've talked a lot about this. We have a lot of people in the activist movement who I agree with. You can point to lots of coverage in the BBC. We've pointed to it many times in headlines where their coverage of the genocide in Gaza totally skews towards parroting the Israeli IDF propaganda machine. But there are many people, you know, we can think of the usual suspects who've kind of got the Gaza documentary pulled down, are attacking Louis Theroux now. You know, there's the usual suspects who like to promote the idea that the BBC is profoundly anti-Semitic and anti-Israel and the rest of it. Let's not forget the BBC Middle East editor, Rafi Berg, is suing Owen Jones. And what's for his piece, he did an investigative piece with Dropsite News in which he revealed the fact that, what's his name? Rafi Berg was a sort of, he was not an advocate for, but he was slightly enamored with the whole kind of Mossad thing. There's lots of reports of him going, oh, you know, so you could argue that Owen Jones has proven that there was a steerage in the opposite direction against the Palestinians, a steerage towards Israel. And the problem the BBC has is whichever side of the argument you're coming from, it produces enough content across so many platforms from so many different editorial departments that it's easy to call it all these things, you know, or it's possible to call it all these things. But the reason Tim Davie resigned in the end was both this edit, which I think in and of itself is odd, because I think if anyone had to go, it was the Panorama editor, don't you? Well, why is the head of...
No, but isn't it because he didn't come up with a statement quick enough?
No, and the Telegraph leaked these memos where they revealed the fact that they were aware of this edit and they were across this edit, and no one and the BBC last week.
No, when were they aware?
Last week.
Oh.
And the BBC were made aware of it, and the BBC still stood by the fact that they had nothing to be apologetic for, which I think is ultimately what kind of sealed his fate. But the other reason that he's left as well, allegedly, is because of basically the coverage of the Gaza genocide, one of the major accusations, again, and one of the major issues, is that they are intensely pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel.
Oh my God.
Which takes us to...
Oh, sorry, that's a chair.
Which takes us to the incredibly suspicious individual who is a part of the BBC governance, which is, what's his name? Let me just find it, sorry. Robbie Gibb. Robbie Gibb is the dude that we need to worry about. So in The Guardian, there's a report saying departures, it's felt, are due to a political campaign. It feels like a coup, people at The Guardian, people at the BBC News Department have told The Guardian. This is the result of a campaign by political enemies of the BBC. Michael Prescott is one of the guys on the board who leaked the letter to the Telegraph, the memo that then kind of led to this. And he's best friends with, also on the board, Robbie Gibb, who, if anyone doesn't know who Robbie Gibb is the guy that many, many actors, performers, entertainers signed a petition saying he should be removed from the BBC board because he was partly involved in buying the Jewish Chronicle. He's part of the Jewish Chronicle as a publication. So what you have on the board is a right-wing Zionist sympathizing contingent that some feel are behind this. Because the letter came from basically Robbie Gibb and this guy are two of the, they're both close, they're closely aligned politically. So there is a perception and a feeling that this is really the far right, the Telegraph, all the usual suspects managing to get another scalp in the form of Tim Davie. Because of course there was the whole Bob Villain drama, you know, calls for him to resign then, and that demonstrated they were pro-Hamas. It's all just, and we have to be careful, guys, because you've even got this clip. Look at this. This is Nigel Farage. Listen to what he's got to say.
Look about election interference. What the BBC did was election interference.
If I may, on the BBC, what do you make of President Trump weighing into the conversation about the BBC and the British media landscape? Do you welcome that, or does that concern you?
Well, if I was the President of the United States of America, if I was the person making sure that the United Kingdom had security guarantees that meant that it could be defended, whereas on its own it would be helpless, and I'd been stitched up on the eve of a national election. I mean, people talk about election interference. What the BBC did was election interference. If you put yourself in Donald Trump's shoes, I think you'll understand why, when I had a chat with him on Friday, he made his feelings on the subject known to me in no uncertain terms and not in a quotable form.
You know, but the thing is,
election
he won. You
yes,
know,
yeah, exactly.
He's looking all the listen, 100% BBC are wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Right. But Trump won. He's sniffing around the whole time looking for who can bloody sue next.
Yeah.
Who was the channel that he sued because they'd edited? That was
CBS.
The right edit, because they'd edited a clip.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really, please, over the top.
So what he's doing now, Trump, he's sent a letter to the BBC threatening legal action. He says if the BBC doesn't apologize by Friday, he'll sue them for $1 billion. Donald Trump threatens to sue BBC for $1 billion over doctored Panorama speeches. He demands a full and fair retraction of documentary and other false and defamatory statements. I mean, if he were to sue the BBC for $1 billion,
how could he win for $1 billion?
Because it would go under.
He still won the election.
Exactly.
It's not like, how did it damage him?
Well, he could argue that reputationally it damages him, but the man is a seasoned, in my opinion, liar.
We're all seeing the videos of children being zip-wired and torn out of their beds in the middle of the night for ICE to go and throw them into God knows where. We are seeing that you are disallowing the payments to people that desperately need them to be able to buy their groceries, and they're now looking in dumpsters for food. He's just the worst president ever.
Trump is just a deluded knob end, says Clodagh. Thank you for that. No,
he is making him and his family rich beyond his wildest dreams and his billionaire friends. Don't come over here trying to get another billion for yourself, matey Flip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite know what he can win here. I mean, Nigel Farage in the same speech, so this is what we've got potentially to look forward to, has said the BBC should only be an entertainment channel. it should have it removed its ability
And
to
who
cover
does
news.
does he only want GB News,
think
where he
so.
gets, how much is it? £400,000
a million
a
a
year.
year. I think he gets
No, it's
a million.
400,000
Oh,
a
right.
year. The last one I read.
Yeah.
He just he'd like it just GB News, would he?
Yeah.
Bit like Trump, with Fox News. He is following Trump's
The Trump
playbook.
Okay, well, look, this will cheer us up. So here's Donald Trump. He went to an NFL football match. You know, they have these kind of rituals, don't they, at the beginning of the games, where they read out something to God or some big thing about America. I'm not making light of it, but I mean, it's not very British. It's quite American. And, you know, there's a big it's a big thing, isn't it? Anyway, so Donald Trump was doing this. And I think he obviously had the sound turned off in his kind of VIP pen, because listen to the sound behind him. I've got a couple of clips I'm going to show you.
Your right hands. I have said your name. You solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Very
And we have the best view of it here. Man, that's I mean, okay.
Mark,
He's in trouble.
he's in big trouble. He's underwater, as they say in America, across everything. Every bit of polling, he's underwater.
Yeah, and the rest is politics. Kathy Cat, is that her name?
Patty K.
Katty Kay. She said the 37% that is MAGA, half of that are abandoning him. So he's basically there on
Because
about 18%
well,
of people.
first of all, he got them there on the promise that their lives were going to be made more affordable. That's out the window.
Groceries is a great word.
He said it again today on the
Not
radio.
groceries.
He said it's an old-fashioned word, but it's a word.
Not groceries.
Groceries, he did. He did.
Oh, God.
And
Bless him.
you know, he got them whipped up into such a lather about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And that is an embarrassment, the lies that have gone on there. And, you know, everything is more expensive.
I mean, big news today is that they've managed to reopen the American government. You know,
so they'll get their SNAP payments.
Well, they'll get their SNAP payments, but I don't know if anyone else saw. I didn't pull this because we're just having a chit chat now. But Trump posted about air traffic controllers. He said, "Did you see that?" He said, "We'll give you a $10,000 bonus if you kept working for no money. But if you didn't keep working for no money, I've made a note of your behavior, and you could, if you
lose your job,
maybe leave your job without pay." He's so vindictive.
I mean, they had to stop flights. I mean, for a capitalist country to stop flights, you know, I mean, it just doesn't work, does it?
You see, under normal circumstances, Jane Bentley, I'd say, yes, good. I hope Trump is a goner. But the problem is that he's not going to go quietly. The more he's cornered, the less popular he becomes, the more worried I get about what decisions he'll make.
But
next.
also Anthony Scaramucci, that worked with him and knew him well, would say, I think now if you inhabit Scaramucci, he will not like this. He is a very fragile man. His ego is huge, and he has to have everyone loving him and adoring him. He said he doesn't think that he likes Trump. We had lunch the other day with someone very, very close to Trump at the White House, and he said he is not happy about the ICE videos. He doesn't think it looks good. It's going to make them unpopular. It's Stephen Miller. It's Miller. Because he has called Miller extremist before.
Trump has.
Yeah. He said, I don't know what's the matter with him. He wants everyone to look like him. Because he's so racist.
Yeah.
And so he's not happy about the ICE. So I wonder now if we're going to see a little retraction with the ICE.
You think he's going to try and be a bit more liberal?
Oh, I think he wants people loving him again.
Yeah, you see,
I think he'll go the other way.
That's interesting. I think all of us have been slightly concerned he'll just turn to demonstrative, you know, what was it, dictatorship and
Well, that's not going
autocracy.
to stop.
No, I know, but I think thankfully, because he wants everyone in whatever room he's in at the time to like him or love him,
that will have hurt him.
It might soften him, but
if there's already like, if it's true what Scaramucci said, and I kind of think he does have real contacts, kind of thing, you know, if it's true and he doesn't like the ICE situation, if you think about the way he thinks, he'll go storming in going, I told you guys, because this will be about he was making the right decision, they weren't. I pray, because the ICE kidnappings are just unbearable.
Well, two big things that are going to happen as a consequence of the US government shutdown being unshut, government opening up again, is Marjorie Taylor Greene has threatened to, on the floor of the Senate or the House of Representatives, has said she's going to name everyone in the Epstein files. That could be a massive fucking problem for
when
Trump.
Is that going to happen?
Well, I don't know. She said as soon as she can find herself
back on the
floor. I hope
she's going to be safe. I hope she's got good security.
Also, NASA now has to kind of release these very, very contentious photos that they're refusing to release about this interstellar object. You know, at the moment,
Mark has a live tomorrow with the professor, the Harvard professor.
5 o'clock tomorrow night.
5 o'clock tomorrow. It's midday America.
Yeah.
And there's
more updates.
There's going to be some serious shit that you're
There's
told.
more updates coming from him about this interstellar object. But I'm only mentioning that as a kind of it's another thing that's fueling conspiracy theories because the government isn't operating. My worry is that yes, he wants everyone in a room to love him, but he's got so many people like Stephen Miller and Hegseth who looks like a walking Viagra pill. He's like, and I worry that they're all just interested in control. Interesting fact that I heard on the Young Turks yesterday. The
Young Turks YouTube channel we love, and we quote it quite a lot if you're new here, Young Turks.
Most of the members of Trump's cabinet or presidential team are currently living on military bases.
Yeah. Can you believe this?
Which could speak to
to what he said. Because when he said it to me, I went,
it was Chen who said it. I was like, what? And he said Stephen Miller, Hegseth, Pam Bondi, I think even JD Vance. I think they're all living most of their time on military bases, which speaks to one of two things. Either, crazily, they know something none of us know, interstellary, or they're that close to knowing that they're going to make decisions that will result in such civil unrest, they want the protection of the army.
Or they just know that they're so fucking horrible that they've got really paranoid.
Yes.
Who's that saying loved the chat last time? Hannah. I haven't seen her.
Hannah. Oh, hi, Hannah Needham.
Yes, Hannah.
Really enjoyed the chat last time with Avi. Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow now too. Yeah, he's got lots to share and lots to talk about. What was that? Oh, it's Toffee over there. Thanks, Kimberly. Love the last one. Vance is very quiet. They're all very quiet. It's quite concerning. It's quite concerning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. What was the other thing? So we've done the booed. He's threatening to sue. Oh right, I just want to talk about this quickly because we've just got a little bit of time. I just thought this was a really interesting topic, and then we're going to share with you who's going to appear in I'm a Celebrity. This was the headline: Heavy drinking in youth. I think this is a great one for you. It might be one for Loose tomorrow. Terrible headline. I think it's a great headline. I don't think it's a good fact, but heavy drinking in youth may aid career success. Study suggests. And I thought, oh, this is just one of those odd articles in the Times. But then the Independent was, it's official. Boozing in my 20s set me up for career success today. And what I wanted to ask you all is this. This is the study here. Research on more than 3,000 people found that those who binge drank in their late teens and 20s later achieved higher education and higher income levels. The evils of drink, a sociology professor from Norway publishing a book, The Beauty and Pain of Drugs, talks about the fact that breaking down alcohol as a form of breaking down social inhibitions through communal binges can actually prove advantageous to young people's careers and their ability to
even if it shortens their life.
Well, this is the interesting thing. Now, when I read that headline, what was really interesting to me as a recovering alcoholic of 21 years, I thought, oh God, that's awful. Of course it does. Of course it mustn't. But I actually think there's a kind of
well, there is some truth in it. Listen, we were both massive binge drinkers. Mark's been sober for 21 years. I binge drank from 16 to 35. Right? You know, it'll probably get me in the end. I had some really great times. I had some really awful times. But let me just finish a bit. What I'm hearing there is, because you socialize more and you are more free and easy and more open, But that's the worst way to get there, is with alcohol. You think of the countries that are not driven by alcohol, that have that, you know, Italy, Spain, and France, the young people there have huge social lives, but they don't drink anything like we do here. It's about making contacts, by being confident, by having self-esteem, by pushing through your shyness or whatever, but not getting bloody blind drunk.
I've got a really
that's the idea,
gritty example of how I can. Can I just clarify? That's all I wanted to say just at the beginning. There was, this isn't advocating this. This is a study. No. But I think people are saying, oh, what are they trying to do? Get us to. I don't think anyone's suggesting this is what one should do. Alison Barber says this is like people playing golf. The idea being that, you know, if you play golf, you get into the social network and all that kind of stuff. Years and years ago, I remember at the rap do for a series I did for National Geographic, the one where I did the hurricane and bears and all sorts of shit. I got incredibly annihilated drunk when the American team from Nat Geo came over to the UK. We were in a big hotel. I was embarrassing, but I was also incredibly, apparently, gregarious, funny, eccentric. I know this is terrible. I'm not saying this as an advocacy.
We know that. No. You keep saying
and
that.
The head guy at National Geo, who flew out back to America the next morning, rang his second in command and said, "Get that Mark Adderley in. I found him incredibly entertaining last night. There's a side to him I really like." And then I was offered a job in Washington, didn't take it.
I was on a movie, and I was there. Everyone was partying, and then I was due to fly back the next day. And the producer, Martha De Laurentiis, said, "No, just stay for another movie, or just stay for a while, just to keep us happy." But it's not something that I'm proud of, and I paid a price.
Right.
I want people to be talking about, how do we make people more able to socialize? Somebody just said that I can't go out with my boss and other colleagues because I don't drink. That is wrong, because they are judging. You are being felt judged, that you do not need to lean on alcohol to let go. I'd be saying, God, can't we have more workshops on how to people to let go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely awful. And and interestingly, what the research project does demonstrate is that being able to judge when to stop that in your career is half the problem, because then you go into long-term drinking, chasing a result from the alcohol that was perhaps a fluke when you were young, worked in one situation, and is just stripping layers and layers of self-respect away from you.
And
as
how
time
unfair
goes
on
on.
people like Shilly 23E, who's suddenly not included because everyone else getting pissed.
Yeah, to just read for the podcast listeners, I don't drink, so can't join in when my boss and colleagues go to the pub and get drunk. After quarterly meetings, I go to the pub, but because I don't get drunk, I'm on the outside of the bonding. I remember in the early days of my career in TV, I remember people saying, well, unless you're in the pub, unless you're seen, unless you're out, unless they see you there, you know, you're not going to be thought of.
But isn't it awful that we say, and the only way you can be seen and be there is to be drunk?
Yeah.
Now, I know a number of people that have never drunk.
Yes.
Like, they just chose not to drink. And they come out and they have a great time, and they're there till the end.
But a lot of people treat people who don't drink with suspicion. I remember,
but that's their problem.
No, I know. But a lot of people in positions of authority. I remember years ago when I first stopped drinking, people were like, "It's a bit odd that you're not drinking. It's like you're conscious and you're acutely aware of everything that's going on." Dawny Harvey says, "Yeah, I got hammered one night, and I'm sure I was contacted to run NASA."
I'm not surprised.
Or someone said I was an ass. Oh, very good, very good. Okay, well, let's sum up with. I just thought it's kind of intriguing, because there is a kernel of truth in it, perhaps on occasion, here and there, but I think it's luck rather than fortune.
The truth of it is that if you can let go, have fun,
very good point,
de-stress, be social, you know, be able to like talk to lots of people, that is what will get you on and on. It's just some people can only do that with alcohol. And I was certainly one of those for decades.
Same. It gave me confidence.
Not now. Now I could go out and have fun and chat to people, but not for years.
Now you guys give me confidence. Okay, final thing, a bit of frippery and fun. First look at I'm a Celebrity, who's in the jungle.
Lisa Riley's really nice.
I thought she'd already done it
for a while. She's such a supportive, lovely person.
Yeah, she is. She's lovely. She's contacted me a couple of times. Lisa Riley, so Ruby Wax.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's a great booking.
That's a great get.
Oh, wow.
Two really strong women. Shona McGarty. Who's Shona McGarty? Who is Shona McCarthy? Does anyone know? Kelly Brook.
Oh, Kelly's in.
Oh my God. Well, I thought all these
Good
people
for
had done it.
her.
That's
I had
really
no
weird.
idea.
Jack Osborne.
Oh, this is a good lineup.
Bloody hell. This is a good lineup. Alex Scott.
Oh, yeah, she's.
Yeah,
I don't
former
know
Lioness.
much about her, but she's. Yeah, she's a footballer.
H. H is. Who's H? Why do
Oh,
I
he's a singer.
He's a singer, right? Eddie Cardi, best known as a comedian. Is that how you say his name? Eddie Caddy or
Caddy?
Eddie Cardi? Morgan Angry Ginge Birtwhistle.
I don't know who he is.
I haven't got a clue who he is.
Does
Oh, he's a
anyone know?
content creator. Martin Kemp.
Martin. Oh, lovely
Wow.
Martin.
Okay, well, God, that's a good lineup.
That's a good lineup.
That's a good
Oh,
lineup.
oh, I might watch this year.
We should watch and we should do a
Ruby Wax as well.
I
And
know.
Kelly. Kelly's good fun.
Yeah, strong women. H from Steps.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise it was him. The one with the floppy hair who was in that funny documentary.
You know
series.
what I really hope this time? I hope they don't just skew it all so the women go first.
Yeah.
Older women always seem to go first.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah, that is odd. I'm looking forward to Martin Kemp in the shower. What's happened? I don't know what's going on. All right, guys, I will see you in the
Martin
morning.
Kemp and I had a lot of storylines together
Did
in
you?
EastEnders. He was
Oh,
lovely.
Is he
Real
lovely?
gent.
He seems like a real gent.
Hmm.
H is a rapper. Oh, he's not. It's not H. A lot of confusion on H.
He's
It's
a
not-
singer.
He's a singer. Is he? He's a
Lisa
rapper.
knows him. He's
Do
young, isn't he?
you get heat, Nadia, for not watching TV programs? She did with the Traitors. Don't mention it. Emma
Tried to
Staple.
get this lot.
I love Martin Kemp. What a good lineup. Didn't expect much, but pleasantly surprised. Yeah, there you go. It's a good lineup. All right, guys, lots of love. I will see you on the morrow, and there's lots of content landing tomorrow too.
Lots of love.
Bye.